Welcome everyone to Neverwinter on PC. My name is Reiner and today I will be giving you all a DPS ToMM build for each of the 8 classes in the game. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you would like to see more information over this about Neverwinter, hit the subscribe button. 8 builds in one video, you heard it. Of course, I already released a ranger build, but that was more what I was running at the moment. That has changed slightly, but I actually want to give you a final setup as well for all of the 8 classes. As good as I can get it, because I'm not an expert on all classes, but I can get the stats right. The problem, however, is, apart from a ranger, I don't really have toons that are fully built. They are missing boons, lots of gear you need to grind, and their own enchantments and insignias, so waiting for them to get ready is expensive, time consuming, not really an option. There is, however, another way. As most of you know, I have made, and I'm still working on, the character builder. As you can probably guess, I have made all of these ToMM DPS builds using my character builder. And I'll release my save files together with this video. For those who are not sure whether this builder is accurate, let me show you once again. I have a separate save file for my current build and I will compare it with what I have on live. So here I am on live. Here you can see my statistics. They are like this. Here's the character builder, the new version. Here. Okay. And I can load my builds. I have it here. Here are all the DPS builds. And if you go to view player stats, you can get your own statistics. Now, HP is slightly off. Bad start, but HP, it's a little bit underestimated in the builder. I still have to figure out why exactly, but it's not really super big of an issue. Then power is 1 off. This is a rounding issue, I guess. I think this is from the bonding statistics, but I'm not really sure. Because it's everywhere 1 off. The armor penetration is 1 off, defense is 1 off, critical strike is 1 off, critical avoidance 1. For some reason accuracy is exactly correct. A deflect is 1 off, combat advantage is 1 off, and awareness is 1 off. And now we can pull this through to here, utility as well. Control bonus exactly the same, control resist AP is rounded in the game, recharge speed, companion influence, movement speed. I'm not really sure where the 10% bonus comes from, but it's always 10% off, at least in PE. Incoming healing is 5% off. Because I am adding the race bonus, Draconic Heritage, it is adding incoming healing. So I don't know why the game doesn't show it. I am showing it because it's actually this. Then outgoing healing, stamina regen, critical severity, and we have 2 more magical and physical damage boosts, which are just rounded in the game. So everything is as good as exactly correct. So that's for the people who don't believe that this thing is accurate. It is. Next up is looking at the changes. We have a new version. It's 0.1 at the end. The previous one was 0.4.8. It's a really minor update, to be honest, but there are some nice features. So we go to the change tracker. For the Tower of the Mad Mage content analyzer, which is here, survivability, I fixed the lion mount. I had it set to a fixed 90,000 shield, but it's actually 30% of my HP instead of exactly 90,000. So I fixed that. I added a lot of gear, which is something that I will do continuously in here. Then I added a check whether the tool is up to date. That's here. You can see it here, and actually if you click on this or you go to here, it will lead you to the web page where you can download the latest build. I've been able to make this with help of Jane. still not sure if this is how you pronounce it, but Jane has an amazing website with all kinds of utilities, calculators and information, guides, everything about Neverwinter. So if you haven't gone to there or you don't know about it, I don't know how that's possible, but she was able to host some kind of file for me, so that's where I can check whether the tool's up to date. And yeah, that's really neat, I think. So from now on you will know whether you have the latest version. I also, something very minor, I don't even know why I added in here, but now you are able to add in minuses in your build. I don't know why I disabled that. I guess I just forgot it. And the last thing is I reduced the crit severity from the offhand bonus, which is here, the artifact class feature, to 7.5%. It says 10% in the game. So if we go here, because I'm using it, it says 10%, but it's actually 10% on top of the base, which is 75%. I don't know if that is a bug, but it's, well, it is giving 7.5%. You can see it also. Crit severity. You can see it in the white number, which says 82.5. That's the base. If you remove the artifact class feature, it goes down to 75%, which is the normal base. You always start with 75%. So somehow it's only affecting that white number. Maybe this will get fixed in the future and it will give you actually 10%, but right now it does give you 7.5%. Once again, I'm not sure if this is a bug, but I just added it to the builder because it seems like something that might be intended, but the tooltip was forgotten. I don't know, but this changed with the damage formula update, which made critical severity a lot more potent. So maybe this was intended. So that is all about the changes in the builder. Basically just fixes and additions and this nice tool. Now let's go to the builds, and those are all in here, of course. So let's go to the first build, which is the Barbarian build. One thing to add about these builds is they are not 100% complete. These are mainly exercises to balance statistics. So you will see here that I will get my power as high as possible, hit points at least 310k, higher is better, armor penetration, defense, critical strike, accuracy and combat advantage kept, and also get as much incoming healing as possible. This could actually be tuned down a little bit, you don't need this much, but getting it as high as possible. The feats and powers are something not really relevant in this case, because you can just pick the feats and powers that are applicable for these statistics and you will be good to go. One exception, there are some feats that affect your statistics, like the skirmisher's gambit on a ranger. That's something you have to take into account, of course, but the builder does that also. So for the Barbarian here, you see all my statistics are nicely kept. I take the metallic dragonborn for the extra hit points, strength and dex all the way. Here you can see here, I'm going to give you all the files so you can look at the exact build, because I'm not going to hover over each one of these builds, but you can see I'm using basically the bypass gold rings. They are probably a little bit expensive, but the Heels of Fury, very normal. Pants of the Sentinel for the 4k defense, and the Raid shirt you will see coming back a lot, and the demo set on all of these builds. As for the boons, power and hit points are a given. Marathon Runner, simple support, also basically a given in all of these builds. Focused retaliation for most of the builds as well, because this is focused on Tom. You will not be killing much, so these two are when you kill something. For Tom, these two are for DPS better. Guild, always power, hit points and revive sickness if you have them. As for the mounts, it doesn't really matter which mounts you have here, but you want to get some Gladiator's Guile, which is very good, and Combatant's Maneuver is also good, so I have basically for all of these builds this setup. Combatant's Maneuver is not really needed for this build, it gives some extra combat advantage when you CC the enemy, which by the way Balthorn does, so I could actually tune this down a little bit, but I don't have to. Here also for all of the builds and Bat Swarm. This is just a template, by the way. If you want to tweak it a little bit, you can. This is just an exercise to show you how you can balance your statistics. And the biggest part of this is basically here, these companion items. This will give you most of your statistics and will help you get close to these caps. So that's the Barbarian. Let's quickly go through to the Cleric. We have a Cleric also. Cleric has 201k power. Pretty high. Accuracy is a little bit over. That's probably because of the rings. Yeah, we have 2 times the 20k accuracy rings, so that bumps us up quite a bit. But everything is kept here. Other than that, you can see here items. I am using the Root Stompers here, which give you a little bit more damage if Alistair is further away, because there's not really a better option. Once again, you can tweak this yourself. I don't need the 4k defense pants here, so I take a little bit more critical avoidance. Deflect is also an option if you have pants for that. I'm not sure. Basically always the primal hands and the ebony stained hide and the protege headpiece, and also again the demo set. This is all the same. This is just tweaking. For here we have the metallic dragonborn again and Dex and Int. And companions here is like this. I could walk through all of them. Shall we just go through all of these builds real quick? The fighter has 193k power and everything kept, as you can see. We are running strength and dex with the metallic dragonborn race. Gear basically the same. We're running the enduring boots here, because we're running the melee power rings. I'm using 2 different ones. You could take twice the veteran ring, but you would have to tweak a little bit on the critical strike on the companion gear for that. It is possible. And for some reason I am using the Helister's Party shirt here. Is that because... oh yeah, it's because I'm using the enduring boots here. So the ebonized shirt will not stack with the enduring boots, so that's why I switched it up. Companion gear is like this: the gold clasped sword knot, the Imperial Diamond Belt, and the gold leafed grimoire, and these items here as well. All of these builds will also use the bullet pub, by the way, for maximum combat advantage, power, and defense. Next up is the Paladin. Yes, I also made a Paladin DPS build because they actually do pretty well. The Paladin had a little bit of an issue on the rings because Paladins do not benefit that much from melee and ranged power rings, because some of their powers actually do not qualify for either. So they're not ranged nor melee, and those are the big heavy hitting attacks. So that's kind of a downer. So we are actually using the Raid Ring of the Spice Guild to get 3% more damage on daily powers here for Divine Judgment, which does a lot of damage. And in this build it will do even more. Of course we're using the Lionheart. Yeah. Also the Primal Paints. Oh, I guess I made a mistake here. Which will also... wait. I hope this stacks actually. Okay, maybe there's a mistake here, not sure. Once again, this is just a template to see that you can cap the statistics and to show you how much power you get here. But these pants, which are called paints for some reason, are maybe not the perfect ones here. As for the companion gear for the Paladin, gold clasped sword knot for some extra accuracy because we're missing a lot of accuracy. Imperial Diamond Belt, and Gold Leafed Grimoire. This one you'll also see in a lot of these builds because we need a lot of combat advantage. Next up, the Ranger build, which is very close to what I have. It actually also has the feats filled in. Let's see, to the gear. We have the Striking Ring of the Master. You could actually upgrade this to the Legendary as well, but that's 20 power each added, so it's I don't know, 40 power for millions of investment. It's not really doing much. Heels of Fury, Ebony Stained Raid Shirt. We have 197k power pre-buffed with this build. Power is a lot coming from here, which is only Brutality or Dominance insignias, and companions are like this. A lot of power here as well. Deep Crow, Raptor. I think this is just to top off the defense. And Compy, which I sadly don't have, it's very expensive. Here, I'm actually using the Arcane enchantment in the defense because my defense is capped. And this is a nicer way to cap the defense. Maybe you could put in a Profane here and get some more power out of your defense slot. But this is the way I chose to balance it. Once again, this is all a template. Work with it. Next up, the Rogue. Really quickly going through all of these. 197k power pre-buffed. So without the Ebonized and the food. Everything is also capped here nicely. Incoming healing 35%. You can see basically the same rings as the Ranger. Once again, not the legendary ones, which would increase power by a tiny bit. But yeah, basically the same items here, which means also the same companion gear, most likely, because we need the same statistics from here. This and the rings basically go hand in hand. That's the main puzzle. And then you fine tune it with your powers here. Oh, apparently the Rogue missed some armor penetration, so I added it in here. Boons, once again, this is just tweaking for the last tweaks. So that was the Rogue. Warlock. Statistics here. Armor penetration 3 over cap, very nice. Defense, critical strike, accuracy. Combat advantage I have here at 125k, but as I mentioned before, because we're using Bilethorn and the Combatant's Maneuver 3 times, this is 5k combat advantage when you are CCing an enemy, and Bilethorn applies a slow, so that will give us the 5k pretty much continuously, so we will be at 130k, which is the cap. As for gear, basically the ranged setup with the sharpshooter rings, root stompers, so you have to be away from the target for maximum damage a little bit. Don't be too far away, by the way, because you need your shield. Ebony Stained and Pants of the Sentinel. Nothing really super spectacular here. Companions, using the Ivy Grown Grimoire, Spike Belt and Gold Leaf Grimoire. Maximum power, 198 on this build. Then last, the Wizard. For the Wizard, we're also using the Root Stompers. 2 times the Sharpshooter ring. Maybe you can mix it up with a Tit for Tat ring for some extra encounter bonus, but I'm not sure if that's better. Companion gear, we have the Ivy Grown. This is the same as the Warlock basically. Yeah, pretty sure. 202k power, so I think that's the highest out of all of these builds somehow. And also combat advantage at 125k because we are using Bilethorn once again. We don't need more. With 3 times Combatant's Maneuver, that should cap your combat advantage continuously. So those are the builds, really quick run through. If you want to look at them in detail, you can find them in the download page for this new tool, this new version. I'll put all of the builds in there, maybe even including my own current builds, but it doesn't really add that much. You can load them via this load build menu. So yeah, have fun and tweak your builds as you want them. Now, I know one last thing, not everyone, or maybe even most of you, don't have the Lionheart set or these rings even. These rings are becoming more and more available on console. On PC they are relatively well available, even though they are pretty expensive. I probably will also do an exercise for all of these builds with non-mod 17 rings, non-ToMM rings. Weapons you can just swap out for burnished and you're good to go. So I will probably do all 8 of these also with different rings, with the ebonized rings basically. So that was it for this video. If you have any remarks on this video or any suggestions on what to investigate next, feel free to leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.